All right, Dave.
And we're all set.
Great. Good afternoon. This is a convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. It's our third convening, which is pretty good given that it's only noon. We had a meeting at 9 and then agenda setting meeting at 10. And now we're turning to some sports wagering division reports. Before we continue, I'll take our roll call because we are holding this meeting virtually. Good afternoon, Commissioner Ryan.
Good afternoon, I'm here.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Hill.
Good afternoon, I'm here.
Great. Good afternoon, Commissioner Skinner.
Good afternoon.
And good afternoon, Commissioner Maynard.
Good afternoon.
Okay, we'll get started with our public meeting number 503, and I'll turn right to our sports wagering division. Director Band, I see your video is off because you are relying on Manager Boschman. Good afternoon, Crystal. There, he's nodding his head. There we go.
Good afternoon. I don't have a lot by way of introduction, but the FanDuel team did say they were ready to provide their quarter 4 report. So I'll just turn it over to them.
Thank you.
Good morning or good afternoon, Chairwoman and Commissioners. I will go ahead and share my screen. Give me one moment. Are you able to see my screen appropriately?
All set.
Okay, great. We have this morning the crew that you are used to seeing. Maybe you've now gotten used to seeing Rich Cooper in my place, but we have Keita Young back and Jill Watkins as well. Our agenda is as follows, as it has been in prior months. We're going to talk about revenue and compliance, talk a little bit about DE&I, both workforce and our vendor and supplier spend, and then responsible gaming and charitable impact. The revenue numbers are here as we've submitted them. You can see that we had a little bit of a dip in margin in the November time period. That was based on customer-friendly results, generally speaking, and I think was seen industry-wide during that period. But otherwise, these are largely in line with our expectations. Happy to answer any questions about these or I'll keep moving.
And Corey, good point. Commissioners, why don't we just chime in as Corey goes along if you have any questions, because that will help him. Anything, and if we hear none, Corey, we can always return. So thank you.
Yeah, happy to take anything as they come up. Next is our minors and underage report. And again, you see that it's 0. Obviously, FanDuel had discussed this issue in executive session with the commission. Happy to answer any questions on this as well. Not hearing anything, I will hand things over to Keita Young to discuss some exciting progress we're making.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Hill.
So I was just having issues getting off my mute button, so I apologize. It took me a second to get to this compliance screen. So yes, we did discuss this in an executive session, but I just want to reiterate and hope you understand that there are some who believe these numbers, aren't realistic. And we understand during our executive session, what's going on and how you are dealing with this. But I just want you to understand that for some of us I think all of us I can speak for, but for some of us for sure, that underage sports wagering is still a very, very big issue for us. And we are still concerned when we see zeros coming up, or at least I am as one commissioner. So I just want to keep that in the back of your mind, that as we move forward in the next few quarters, that, you also make this issue, a top priority in ensuring the best that you possibly can, that our minors and underage folks are not getting into your site in order to do, gaming. It's still a very, very big issue for us.
Well received, and we do take this very seriously. I don't anticipate, unfortunately, that or fortunately, depending on your point of view, that these will always be all zeros. I think there will be numbers that come up here And we will continue to look for ways that we can enhance our prevention of underage wagering.
Enhance and identify. I think I would like to add to that.
It is in the front of our minds, and we take our obligation here very seriously.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, just to, for the record, Commissioner Hill, you're alluding to an executive session we had recently with individual sports wagering operators who offered tactics and strategies with respect to KYC matters and proxy wagering. And because of the nature of those tactics and strategies, they were conducted in executive session. So thank you, Corey. I know it's hard when we really have to, we're straddling that careful line there. So thank you.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Keita Young to discuss our diversity, equity, and inclusion program. If I can figure out how to switch the slide. Give me 1 second. Go ahead, Keita.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to be here again in the start of 2024. Keita Young, head of DE&I. So each time I come before you, I am even more excited. I think this is my third time here before you to talk about my job, our company, and the continued efforts we're doing in the DE&I space. So I think, as you all recall, a little over a year ago, I was hired to develop the DE&I framework and strategy. And I can tell you that this company, after a year later, I have learned is not a check the box company when it comes to DE&I, and it continues to be intentional and invest in our DE&I efforts. So when I started a year ago, it was just me by myself. I think y'all remember, but I'm here over a year and a half, and I've hired a program manager, a DE&I program manager, and recently just hired a DE&I specialist to assist with our further implementation of this strategy. So as you know, we have 4 focus areas: diverse source and hiring, talent and development, community and culture, and employee engagement and communications. So within these areas, I'd like to highlight and showcase for you some of our 2023 initiatives. It's not a comprehensive list, but I just wanted to kind of bring you guys up to speed really on what we've been doing. So first, in our diverse sourcing and hiring. So in this space, my team has been working side by side with the talent acquisition team, understanding that representation matters. And we've adopted a couple of initiatives to bring intentionality to our intent and really to create impact. We are establishing a diversity recruiting committee to make sure all of our businesses are aligned with our efforts, our DE&I efforts, and are implementing these initiatives. We've implemented a diverse slate process for our leadership roles. When we talk about diverse slates, we are diversifying the pool of applicants that are considered for key roles and bringing forth candidates with different backgrounds, experiences, races, and gender classifications in an effort to diversify our workforce. We believe here, you can't hire who you don't see. We're proud to share about our newly created pipeline projects. We have a veterans internship program. We have a UK returners program, which is really special to my heart because that's my story. I actually am a lawyer by trade. I took 11 years off. I never thought that I would get back into the workforce, but at another company, returned through a returners program. And here I am testifying in front of all of you. Really, this changed my life. And I'm really excited that FanDuel is actually taking this on with a UK returners program. We've implemented diversity outreach initiatives. We've got an HBCU Community Connections event that we hosted this year. And we also did a Bet on Black Tech Summit for Black technologists. And these are just to name a few of our initiatives that we were able to accomplish in 2023. In talent and development, I think last time I was here, I spoke about our partnership with McKinsey. So we graduated over 30 Black employees that participated in a 3-month leadership development program with over 30 hours of learning. And I'm here to also share, we just launched our Asian Leadership Academy with McKinsey with over 40 participants. And we're gearing up for our Hispanic Leadership Academy to start in second quarter. In our community and culture and employee engagement pillars, we actually have had a year-long last year of cultural moments, celebrations, activations to bring awareness to the diversity of our community and how special that is. We celebrate diversity in all different forms. One super proud moment of 2023 I would like to share today is our expansion of our ERG program. When I started, we had 4 grassroots organizations, and now we have 7 official ERG groups that are formally recognized with charters, executive sponsors, budgets, and that there's a member of my team solely dedicated and responsible for the oversight and support of these groups. Last month, we flew in all of our ERG chairs to New York for a curated ERG summit. We set them up in the boardroom here. We brought in an external subject matter expert, and we had a full day dedicated to upskilling and setting them up for success. Our ERGs also have professional coaches that we provide to them separately to further demonstrate our investment and critical nature of their roles. We support our ERGs wholeheartedly because we truly believe that they are a critical pillar of FanDuel to support and amplify our diverse communities. You can see on the next slide our proud logos of our 7 ERG groups. That was something that we worked on. They all have representation, and that's something that is shown all across our community so they know who our 7 ERGs are. And the last initiative I'd like to call out is our Huddle series, which is our DE&I listening sessions, which provide an opportunity to hear from our colleagues on often very hard topics, but they provide insightful information for all of our community. We've had things on identity, allyship, cultural fit versus cultural add, inclusive language, and last week we had a session on code switching. These discussions allow us to drive forward our D&I efforts in a way that allows our community to listen and be heard. Hundreds of people join this hour discussion, and I can tell you that my email is full of thank yous from those who come to listen, those who want to be heard, and those who walk away with open eyes and new ways of thinking. So we've talked a good number about our initiatives and what we've been able to establish, but I think what's more important is the impact of all of these things that we've done. So the impact in the focus area of diverse sourcing and hiring is that we've had last year, 51% of our overall new hires have been diverse. And that's because of our efforts. We've established stronger ties with diverse pipeline organizations that we're really happy about. The impact in our focus area of talent development is that we've had over 100 participants in our Women's Leadership Development Program, which I talked about last time I was here. And we have over 80 diverse associates and manager level employees that participated in our McKinsey Leadership Program. Our impact in community and culture, like I talked about, we revamped our ERG framework and structure, and we've created a culture that openly discusses DE&I topics to create a more inclusive environment. And then the fourth pillar, the impact in our employee engagement and communications, we now have quarterly metrics reporting that I give personally to our ELT, our most senior level employees, that provide benchmarking and they measure our progress in the DE&I area. We've got DE&I training and education, which brings forth DE&I to the forefront and assists all of us in our journey. So the next page I'd like to turn to is our workforce numbers. Last time I reported to you guys at our minorities level, we were at 35.6% of our employees that had self-disclosed. As of today, we're 38.5%. With respect to our representation for women, last time I was before you, it was 29%, and today we are at 30.5%. You can see our veterans is unknown right now, but I can tell you we are launching, I promise, a self-ID campaign where we're going to get the information of our veterans population as well as other diversity classifications, which we currently are not tracking. So the last thing is our supplier diversity. FanDuel last year committed to developing and executing on a plan which involved identifying and engaging minority-owned, women-owned, and veteran-owned businesses in support of our external diversity efforts. We outlined our comprehensive plan with phases, as you can see on the screen, and we're pleased to announce today that we have contracted with a vendor, supplier IO, who's going to assist us in our efforts, who is currently right now in the process of assessing our vendors, building dashboards, and I can assure you by our next meeting that I'll have more information about where we are with respect to our vendor supplier efforts. So that's in a nutshell, the report of what we're doing in the DE&I space. I'm open to questions if anybody has any.
Commissioners, any questions on?
No question. No questions, Madam Chair, just a few comments. Keita, hi.
Hello.
I always, it's Nikisha Skinner. I always like to hear from you because I think that you are the real deal. Fantastic DEI agenda. It's a full agenda, and your intentionality here it is not unnoticed. And I think FanDuel made an excellent investment because, you know, your excitement just shines through. And I, as one commissioner, I think I can speak for my fellow commissioners as well, truly appreciate your energy. And I think you started by saying this isn't a check off the box situation for you folks, and you've really demonstrated that it's not. And I just want to thank you.
Commissioner Skinner, thank you so much for that. And everything you said is totally accurate. And I will tell you, you know, I report to the chief people officer, and she says to me all the time, Keita, you're doing all this great work and you've really been able to make an impact. And I tell her, I'm the same person that I was at my prior company, but this company allows me, I think, to really have wings on my back. And they really, and I can truly say that from the bottom of my heart, they're really, truly invested. And I love working here, and I love all the work and the investment that they're putting in the D&I space. And thank you for recognizing that.
Oh, thank you. I think Commissioner Skinner summed it up for all of us. Corey, next.
Yeah, we can move on to Jill, who's going to address our responsible gaming program.
Thank you, Kia.
Everyone. Nice to see everyone again.
Hi, Jill. First up, I just want to make sure I said thank you to Kieta, but I think you might have an echo.
Okay.
Perfect.
I think we're okay now, I hope.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Lovely to see you all again. And also Commissioner Skinner, I agree. I think he does an amazing investment, and we're very happy to have her here as well. So last time I came and spoke to you guys about responsible gaming, I will do the same here today, starting with our tool usage. So last time I came and spoke, I talked a little bit about how we were sending out monthly notifications to customers to try and get them to access their player activity statement, which for us is our way to try and reduce this cognitive dissonance we see around people wanting to use tools and get people to look at what they're spending on a given month and take appropriate action. So those monthly pushes have continued, and we have seen from the back of that continued growth in people accessing their player activity statement. So for the last quarter in Massachusetts, about 45% of our active player base in Massachusetts looked at their player activity statement. We are still trying to think of strategies this year for how we want to increase some of our core tools across the board. And we have some exciting project work coming out in Q2 and Q4, which we hope will address this. And we are looking forward to be able to talk to you guys about that in upcoming sessions. But we feel positive about our plans for our tool usage across the board. And our hope is that by the time we get to the end of the year, we have reduced this stigma that we know exists around people using tools, and we have more people engaging with these tools in a way that aligns to how they want to play. Moving on then to touch on people who have taken advantage of the voluntary self-exclusion. We had 77 people in Massachusetts in Q4 engage with this. We've seen that about 0.2% of registered Massachusetts accounts have also elected to take a time out in Q4, with the average length for that time out being about 69 days. I believe last time I came and spoke, that was around 70 days. So it has remained fairly consistent over the last couple of quarters in terms of length of time out. And then we continue to direct customers to the GameSense website to find out more information about the voluntary self-exclusion program and what is available there for people to access to. If we jump on again, Corey, I think if there's no more questions about that, I'll jump in for an update on Operation Hope. The last time I came and spoke to you all, we were about to roll it out. I'm happy to be able to say that in January we did, and we launched our partnership with Operation Hope, which is America's leading nonprofit dedicated to financial literacy. The program is currently live in Massachusetts, and it's giving individuals in Massachusetts access to financial well-being coaches, giving them virtual and in-person financial health sessions at no cost to them. We currently have about 3 coaches working on this, and that means that at any one time we're able to roll the service out to a few hundred people, with the aim being that around 5,000 to 6,000 Massachusetts residents will benefit from this over the course of the partnership. We have been able to promote this, so we have videos here. We've also promoted this on Meta, Snapchat, radio in Massachusetts or in the Boston area, out of home, and we've put an awful lot of financial spend behind this in order to support it and really make it known to people that it's there. So hopefully people might have seen it at bus stations, heard it on the radio. We've gotten loads of really nice imagery of it being out in the wild, which has been amazing for us. And we've been able to work with Operation Hope to build out some really nice creative to hopefully really drive people towards the landing page where they can sign up to do the various different workshops. I'm hoping that when we come back in Q2, we'll be able to give you more numbers in terms of how many people we've been able to service so far. The way we're looking at it is we're trying to gauge what good looks like based on credit scores and stuff like that. So as people engage with the course, the hope is that their financial well-being metrics will be able to increase, and we'll be able to really determine if this has been a success and how we then expand it and roll it out further.
So Jill, I'm really thrilled with this partnership. Just this morning, I was speaking with Commissioner Maynard about an initiative we tried to start. It was very informally done, didn't gel enough to really survive change in administrations. But the idea that this could help those who are in debt, that's been sort of at the top of my list since my arrival. We noticed before sports wagering was even legal, that there were those who found themselves in debt, in some publicly, and resulting in some criminal behavior. And I just feel as though there should be opportunities for folks to understand how they can get out of that crisis and not have to, in any way turn to illegal measures to get themselves out of debt. So I'm really thrilled to see this, and I hope that your efforts to advertise it are successful. I think, Commissioner Skinner, this is something that perhaps Treasurer Goldberg would be interested in. And that's an opportunity for you to forge more relationships here in Massachusetts. Treasurer Goldberg does have a financial literacy program, and just a way to spread this particular effort that I understand is being run in partnership with this nonprofit. It's exciting.
Yeah, we're excited about it, and we think it's just a really good way to help empower people as well.
Yes.
And to really kind of help them understand and hopefully teach people life skills that will carry on far past like where we are there. So no, we're really, really excited about this, and it's one that we're very, very happy to be able to say we've officially launched, and we have lots of plans at Operation Hope, and we really enjoy our work with them. So our plan is very much to try and lean into this and really make it a success, because the general vibes around FanDuel is that this is something we should be doing and doing more of, and it's just a good thing for us to be involved in the industry generally.
Madam Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
thank you for your comments regarding the Treasurer's Office and the programs offered there. Mark and I kicked around a couple of ideas not that long ago, but not very recently, on ways we could take advantage of a partnership with the Treasurer's Office around the financial literacy programs. And so you're absolutely right. This is an opportunity to forge new relationships going down this path. I have a question for Jill as well.
Yeah.
I know it's a fairly new partnership, just launched in January. I don't know what the volume is, and I look forward to hearing those numbers from you at the next quarterly report. You have 3 coaches. Is there an opportunity to expand that number and to accommodate, any demand that you might see beyond what you originally anticipated? And I guess I'm assuming that the program is available to anyone that wants it, right? Like there's no cap on the number of enrollees.
Correct. Thank you for those questions, Commissioner Skinner. We can flex that up. I believe the last time I spoke to you guys, we'd originally hoped to launch at the end of the year, but we had some issues with the hiring of the coaches. It took a little bit longer. But the plan is that if we see that the demand is there, we are able and we are willing to lean in and hire more coaches if we deem that like we need more in order to be able to facilitate the volume that we're seeing. So our plan is to run it for the first 6 months, then review and see, do we have the right amount of coaches for the volume we're seeing? How many more would we potentially need? Are we seeing volumes less than we anticipated? And if so, how do we lean in heavier and get those volumes up? But we are very much willing and want to lean into this as an opportunity. We just need a couple more months to really understand how it's performing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck with it.
Super. I think the only other things I have left are how we've been promoting Operation Hope. We have a video here and then just some visuals around what we have been putting out to the market. Hopefully this actually works. Perfect. And then we just have some visuals of what it looks like and introductions to coaches then on the following slide.
I'm trying to get there. Hold on. One moment.
I believe in you, Corey. Super. So here we just have an introduction to who the coaches are in Massachusetts, what the visual is that we're going out with, what our taglines are, and what our kind of lockup looks like with Operation Hope and how we're leveraging it. So on the far left, when people go onto the landing page, this is what they see. They can read a bit about the coaches, understand who they'd like to work with, and then go ahead and set up a one-on-one coaching session, or they can opt in to attend one of the workshops that are on offer as well. So more to come on this in future meetings, but very happy to be able to tell you all that we are live, and looking forward to our future and our work with Operation Hope.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
Questions, commissioners? I think the lack of questions only indicates everyone's satisfaction and appreciation for your presentation. All set then, commissioners. Corey, thank you for bringing your team here today.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you guys. Lovely to see you all.
Oh, the 2 of them are together. That's really
Yes, we're together.
We'd like to see that.
We're a tag team.
Exactly.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Great to see you all. Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much. Okay, Crystal, next up, we're going to hear back from WinBet.
I think that MGM is up. Is that correct?
I have WinBet.
Okay, then you might be right. I can't pull up my agenda fast enough.
Oh, hope so. Well, no, I've got BetMGM in front of me. I've
You've got them both, so.
Oh, BetMGM, my apologies. BetMGM, my apologies. Yeah.
Okay, no problem.
You know what?
scattered the order
I
on
went to
you, so.
2 rather. I went to 2. My apologies. I should have corrected on the record. We did it in the earlier meeting that we started with FanDuel, and thank you to the MGM and WinBet for accommodating their schedule. Appreciate it. So the MGM, thanks, Crystal.
No problem. I think I see Sarah. Do you have everybody you need, Sarah? Are you ready to go?
I see Sarah.
Hi.
Hi,
do.
how are you?
Madam Chair, thank you, commissioners, for having us this afternoon. I am joined by Rich Taylor, Director of Responsible Gambling, Josh Wiseman, Director of Licensing, Jaleel Morton, Head of Diversity and Inclusion for BetMGM, and we've got Rich Eggy, Senior Analyst of Regulatory Admin, who'll be running our deck for us. So Rich, if you can share your screen, we'll get started. I let Crystal know already, but I have a child who just came home sick right before this meeting. So if she makes a cameo, we'll be meeting Madeline as well again.
Yeah, we look forward to meeting Madeline. You know how we roll here. We like cats, dogs, and especially small children. So thank you.
Well, Commissioner O'Brien, it looks like she's in the office today, so I won't see her cat today.
No mango today.
No mango today.
Yeah. Okay, but Rich, when you're ready, if you can pull the deck up.
Rich Eggy, right, Sarah?
Yeah, Rich Eggy.
Please. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing, but I guess I'm not. Here I go.
Okay.
There you
My
go. Rich.
apologies.
Thank you. All right. As I said, this is our Q4 report. Obviously, Rich, you can go ahead and switch. Revenue. As anticipated, revenue went up 10.3 million, with just over 2 million collected in taxes. This was anticipated with the organic sports calendar. Next slide. Jaleel will present on human resources.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Hello, everyone. I'm Jaleel, for those commissioners, and of course, Madam Chair, who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. Before I get started, I just wanted to begin by saying that for the foreseeable future, I'll be here to serve as head of DEI for BetMGM in the short term, and I'm looking forward to working with everyone, of course, in our business and with all of you to ensure we stay at the forefront of DEI best practice, as well as remain accountable to all of you within context of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So looking at our Q4 diversity numbers, we've split the data, of course, along 3 identities and by level in the business. As of Q4 last year, we had around 1,332 employees. 48% were minority and underrepresented populations, 34% were women, and around 1% are veterans and Massachusetts residents, respectively. Our Bet on Vets ERG is currently working on a strategy that educates our people leaders about veterans who are looking for civilian roles in the workforce, what those sorts of resumes look like. Usually they can look a little different than a standard civilian resume, so that we can try to organically and systemically see more veterans represented in our employee base. Our data relies on self-ID, and so I'm in discussion with our executive team, our ERG leadership, and other internal stakeholders to conduct an updated self-ID campaign this year so that we can have the most updated data available to us. Any questions at this time on this slide?
Questions, commissioners, all set? You're all set?
Next slide, Rich. Vendor utility. Global vendor utility, you can see our spend increased by roughly 60 million quarter over quarter. And then the breakdown of those expenditures is below. Next slide. And our local vendor utility spend went down on the whole. We're at 2.2 overall quarters, 2.2 million. And next slide. Compliance, I'll hand it over to Richard Taylor, Director of Responsible Gambling.
Thanks, Sarah. Good afternoon, Commission, Madam Chair. In Q4, we had one reported instance of underage patron gaining access to a BetMGM account. We filed a suspicious activity disclosure regarding this incident with the MGC in Q4. Essentially, what had happened was the father reached out to BetMGM to report that his son had gained access using the mother's registered BetMGM account. An investigation was conducted, and this was confirmed. And so BetMGM took action. We closed the account and filed that SAD with the MGC. Next slide, please. In addition to the one confirmed incident of suspicious activity involving underage access, we also had 3 other suspected instances. The suspicious activity team conducted a thorough investigation of each of those, and we determined that these were instances where individuals had lost money wagering, and they were making claims in an effort to recoup those losses. As a result of these claims and our concerns regarding their ability to play responsibly and sustainably on our application, BetMGM made the decision to close all of the accounts and provide resources for problem gambling in Massachusetts. In addition to that, the one suspicious activity filing account was also closed due to the nature of the issue involving that account holder and the family. Any questions regarding?
Yeah, I think, Rich, maybe the other commissioners have questions first. Anybody? Commissioner Maynard, and
I can hold for yours, Madam Chair.
My apologies.
I can hold for your question, Madam Chair.
No, that's fine. Go ahead, Commissioner Maynard.
I was going to ask is, Rich, thank you for walking through those. On the last situations you brought up, is it standard to close those accounts when a parent reports that this has happened?
It is. And the reason for that is if the patron, or I'm sorry, if the underage individual was able to gain access using the parent's account one time, our fear is that that can occur again in the future. And for us, it's not worth it to take that risk and allow that event to occur again in the future. So we make the decision to be as safe as possible here and to close the account because we just don't feel comfortable allowing it to stay open and to do business and for that risk to exist within our platform.
Thank you, Rich. I'm going to throw something out for food for thought for both my fellow commissioners, the commission, and for you, which is, at what point are we disincentivizing parents saying this is an issue, and are we potentially cutting off another stream to get this information? Because as Commissioner Hill said earlier, no one believes it's zero. And, I won't go into what we talked about what the chair referenced earlier, our executive session last week. But, I just want that to be thought about. At what point are we saying to parents, if you report that this happened, and we turn off your account, that they say, well, we may just not report that this happens. And that's something that I've been thinking about and chewing on myself.
I as well. And I think that's a fair thing to consider and something that I'll take back to the suspicious activity team and leadership here at BetMGM to have a discussion about, really it's about how comfortable we feel assuming risk and, what kind of possible outcomes may occur by allowing that account to stay open. But I see your point. I mean, it's really the issue that we face in general when it comes to problem gambling. We want people to be forthcoming and to come to us if they have any issues or challenges. But with that information, we have to take certain actions to not only protect the customer, but protect the business as well. But at the same time, we don't want to be in a situation where that action is discouraging people from coming forward. So I wouldn't say it's a catch-22, but it's very complicated and challenging. And I will take this back to leadership and we'll have a discussion around if this is disincentivizing the very behavior that we're looking for, which is for people to be forthcoming when something illicit is occurring.
Thanks, Rich. Commissioner O'Brien.
So my question is probably not for consumption in the open meeting, but I'm curious as to the 3 suspected instances that were deemed not to be underage access. I'm curious what the factors were that made you conclude that, but I'm also mindful of the fact that I don't want you talking about investigative techniques necessarily in this setting.
I appreciate that, Commissioner. And I would offer up to have a executive session about that. We could go into detail about how the team investigates these and what information we're using to determine if it's a false claim or not. But I agree, I would not want to share that information in the setting.
So, Madam Chair, I'm wondering if maybe the next quarterly we could mark the agenda to have that option, because I would get more info on it.
Yeah. Can I do a follow-up on the 3, Rich? And
Yes.
I may have misheard. I'm hearing Commissioner O'Brien wanting to understand more about the investigatory techniques. Did I hear you say that the 3 were concerned about their losses? Did they allege that it was their children? Did I hear that right?
That is correct. And this is common in other jurisdictions as well. I shouldn't say common. This occurs in other jurisdictions as well, where there will be a substantial loss. It doesn't even have to be a substantial loss. There will be a loss, and the player will write in and say that their child had gained access to their app and had placed wagers that they didn't mean to place, and they would like a refund. And usually the ask for the refund is one of the bigger tip-offs that this is likely a false claim. But we go in, we check the data, we look at a lot of different data points, and from that we're able to draw the conclusion if it was a legitimate underage access or if it's a claim for recouping losses.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Next slide.
Thank you, Rich.
I'll be doing the responsible gaming tools update. Rich, if you can go to the next slide. So in Q4, we had 1,089 use our cool off, 187 voluntary self-exclusion uploads were submitted through our back office system. I'd like to ask the commission, I noticed in FanDuel's presentation that they're using percentages. Is there a preference in how you want this data presented from the operator? I'd be happy to be more consistent so that you're seeing apples to apples versus apples to apples.
Thank you for that, Rich. There was a percentage in the last one. Commissioners, should we turn to Crystal to see, is there a template that you're thinking of, Crystal?
So we had originally asked for this by solid numbers. I think over the course of the last few quarterly reports, certain commissioners had asked what percentage that was. And so some operators are now also giving percentages or giving percentages instead. I'll note that the data that is on this slide, actually, all of it goes to Long, and he puts all of the numbers together in full so that we have an overview of the entire market. And that's where a lot of this data comes from. So we have a better picture in some of the reporting he's developing. That would be more of an analysis percentage-wise and for the whole market. So it's really up to you guys, but that's how this has progressed over time.
Yeah, Chair, if you don't mind, I would like to, in future reports, we'll provide the percentages as well as the full numbers, just so that you have a good comparison across operators during these meetings.
Thank you. Did you do that math today?
Not in my head. I haven't had enough coffee. It's still the morning time here in Las Vegas.
Oh, and I appreciate that. It is a good morning still for you. Commissioner Maynard and I were pointing out that we were both having an afternoon coffee, and it may come back to haunt us. Right. Okay, thank you.
In closing, for the RG section, I want to highlight in next meeting, we will be doing a good recap of our Problem Gambling Awareness Month activities. As I'm sure you all are aware, March kicks off Problem Gambling Awareness Month, and we have a lot of exciting things planned, including direct emails to customers, social media campaign, supporting other initiatives such as the Cambridge Health Alliance's Problem Gambling Screening Day. And so it should be an action-packed month, but highlighting all of that is our commitment to re-engage with Epic Global Solutions to provide lived experience sessions to all of our employees during the month, which I'm very excited about. These are very impactful. And, I'll extend this invitation to all of you. If you're interested in attending one of these, I'd be happy to send you a link so that you can observe what these sessions are all about for our employees. In addition to that, and this is really the most exciting thing to share, and we'll share a version of it once it's ready during the next quarterly meeting. We are just now finalizing our very first responsible gambling television commercial, which we intend to play in markets around North America in the not too distant future. And it's using one of our top ambassadors. I'm very excited about the way it's turned out. I don't want to give away too much as we haven't aired it yet, but it's a fresh take, I believe, on how you can promote responsible gambling tools to the public, which I know is a big concern of the commission, as it is a concern of ours. And it's the first of many. We all already have plans for additional ambassadors to get in on the fun of promoting responsible gambling. So it's going to be an exciting 2024 for BetMGM and our RG program. Any final questions before I turn it over to Josh Wiseman to discuss lottery?
No, I'm excited about that though, Rich. Thank you.
I am too. The next meeting is going to be a lot more fun than this, I promise. All right, Josh, all yours.
Perfect. Thanks, Rich. Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. It's nice to see you again. For our update on the lottery, this quarter is just to say that BetMGM is still having active and meaningful conversations with the lottery. And we're still very engaged and excited to explore our partnership with them. We haven't got to that point yet, but I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to provide a more substantive update in our quarterly update next quarter.
Thank you. Any questions for Josh, commissioners? Well, all set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. So I'll be presenting on our community outreach initiatives.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm having trouble getting on my getting off of my mute button, so I apologize. But I just wanted to bring it to BetMGM's attention that we are watching very carefully what the legislature does for the lottery during the budget process this year, where they may allow some, they may allow the lottery to be able to, for us to be able to go online and do our lottery through different means. And I think at that time, that's when there may be some opportunities, if that is adopted, for all our operators to be more involved with our lottery than they currently are. I just wanted to let them be aware of what's going on in terms of what could happen in the next 3 months in regards to our legislative actions in regard to the budget.
That's very helpful, and I'll make sure that the business is aware of that. Thank you, Commissioner.
Excellent. Thank you. Community outreach, Shahil.
Awesome. Thank you. So in terms of community outreach, our ERGs and employee experience team contributes to a lot of the work that BetMGM is doing. As of Q4 last year, we actually established our first functional ERG strategy, and embedded in that strategy are pillars that each ERG serves. One of the major pillars across many of our ERGs is community development and community outreach. So this is a priority for us, and we're looking forward to having a great relationship with our communities and serving them. As far as our ERGs go, we have 7 groups, all equipped with leadership teams composed of employees across all levels of the business, as well as executive sponsors that champion and advocate for these groups. Additionally, each group has a robust membership of employees who voice their concerns, share resources with their colleagues, plan celebratory, educational, and thought-provoking programming, and things of that nature. On this slide, we have the mission statements of each group. And this year, we are looking to have these groups continue to serve their communities, but also to collaborate together in an effort to bring intersectionality to the forefront. Rich, can we go to the next slide? In Q4, we had a few community outreach events that we participated in. We were pleased that these were able to take shape, given the flexibility, of course, needed during Q4, specifically with folks traveling and the holidays, things of that nature. But firstly, we had our Latinx Heritage Month School Supplies Drive. This was a community-led initiative via our Latinx Alliance, ERG, in which people in our business donated school supplies or bought school supplies for our Amazon gift basket. And our Latinx Alliance ERG leadership brought all of the donations to the school. It is a school with a relatively high at-risk student population, and we wanted to be intentional with the school we selected to make sure that this initiative had as much impact as possible. Secondly, our Adopted Family Program. This initiative was led by our employee experience team, and they partnered with Volunteers of America during the holiday season to provide essential items to families in need. This year, we were able to serve 4 families, donating food, gifts, toys, clothing, etc., any other essential items that they needed. So we were very happy to participate in that as well. And then finally, our BetMGM USO Salute the Troops initiative. So this is an initiative that is organized by our regional marketing teams, and due to the heavy military and veteran presence in the communities we operate in, they wanted to develop a relationship with those who serve our country. We served breakfast to around 170 service members at this event, specifically in support of MGM Resorts' larger Salute the Troops event. And that team also partnered with USO for a Surprise and Delight initiative for those service members that conduct the funerals at Arlington National Cemetery. So a very cool initiative as well. I would also like to highlight that we are ramping up with ERG programming in 2024, including we just had robust Black History Month programming that is taking place now, as well as a thorough slate of programming for Women's History Month in March. Some examples of these would be our representation panel that we had with the business for Black History Month, and a couple more conversations in the same vein that we have in store in March that will be powered by our Women's ERG to this quarter as well, that we're looking forward to sharing at our next meeting. Any questions, commissioners, on this slide or anything that I've talked about to this point? Awesome. Hearing no questions, Rich, can we move to the next slide? So lastly, we have our Empower Mentorship Program. How this really came to be was that we were hearing from our ERGs and underrepresented employees that they needed more opportunities to grow their skill sets, develop, and connect with business leaders. So we responded with our Empower program. Basically, we identified people leaders across the business who satisfied criteria that could serve as mentors in our program. And for mentees, we were intentional in having ERG members participate, since they represent a good majority of our underrepresented employees. And so we really wanted to make sure that they were able to participate in this. We encouraged mentor-mentee pairs to meet at least an hour per month. And we actually found that many met for longer periods of time and have actually kept in touch via their monthly, bi-weekly syncs. So that was a great long-term outcome of the program that we observed. Moreover, we were able to graduate all 32 of our mentees from the program, which was fantastic. Our second cohort will be kicking off in a few months. And right now we are putting our program plan in place to make enhancements from last year's cohort. So a lot to look forward to and more to come in our next quarterly call. Any questions on our Empower program, commissioners?
Commissioners? All set. I see from Commissioner Hill and don't hear from anyone else.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Good work.
That closes our presentation. If there's no questions, then thank you very much for your time from the BetMGM team.
Sarah, do you just mind just pulling down the slideshow, please, so we can just say goodbye? Thanks so much. Well, thank you. This is Sarah. Everybody else
Madam Chair, just want to say thanks to the BetMGM team and a welcome to these meetings to Jaleel. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. It's nice to meet you as well. Looking forward to working with you.
Jaleel has been behind the scenes for us now for a while and does an excellent job. So we're very happy to include him as a spokesperson for BetMGM. So he'll continue to do excellent work for BetMGM. So thank you.
Well, welcome to this public forum.
Yeah, No pressure, Jaleel.
And you know what? There should never be any pressure. Excellent job today. Welcome and thank you, Sarah and Rich. Always great to see you. Thank you, and Josh. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Bye now.
Okay, excellent. We will then now turn to WinBet. And Jennifer, you were with us very early. I'm presuming you were in Las Vegas.
I am in Las Vegas.
It's at 9 a.m.
Lots of coffee, so.
Good. Well, we appreciate you hanging in there for us.
Of course. No, it's nice to see you again. So good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the commission and commission staff. Jennifer Roberts, VP and General Counsel of WinBet, and I will pull up my slides. So because we were operational within the fourth quarter of 2023, we are presenting our quarterly report, and we will start with the revenues that have been already reported to the commission. So
Jennifer?
Yes.
Jennifer, I'm sorry to interrupt you. It might just be my screen, but I don't think it is. It's yours is really small, what you're projecting here on the screen.
Okay, let me.
It actually looks like an iPhone, like a cell phone app.
Oh, that's strange. Okay, it's on my monitor, but let me try another route.
Jennifer happened to be looking at my monitor where I've got it projected from our package. So that was just a little small.
Okay, let me try this again.
I have mine up as well, but just for people tuning in from the public, it might be helpful to show it on the screen.
Absolutely. Let me just trying to get this to work. Okay, I'm going to try a different route. Not that
and nobody's nervous, so.
Are you able to see this?
Right now it's black. Up there, there we go. You do have, these full slide.
I tried that and it shifted it over to the other screen. So if you don't mind, I'll just leave it as is to give you.
And it'll be easy for you to go right through.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we have the revenues that have been reported. This is a snapshot of the entire year. So, and it includes the fourth quarter revenues, as well as the taxes collected and the amounts wagered. So our workforce diversity, WinBet has always, promoted a diverse workforce. Obviously with natural attrition due to the status of our operations, we've had some decline in numbers, but we've maintained pretty consistent numbers with our female representation and our minority representation within our workforce. This also includes numbers and representation at our executive and management levels. You can see here that we've have as of Q4 2023, we still have maintained pretty consistent female representation at the executive levels and similar numbers as well in minority representation. And again, throughout our operations, our initiatives for employment has always been to recruit, hire, promote, and retain diverse talent across all levels within the company. And we believe that we maintain a workforce that reflects the representation of our initiatives, and includes, again, has always included several women in executive leadership roles. As far as vendors, we have a breakdown. We did the percentage breakdown of diversity spend. Again, with the announced closure of our business, we've seen the diversity spend, some diversity spend decline, but and it's been challenging through WinBet in that we did not require our vendors to disclose their diversity certification, but we had always been dedicated to identifying and contracting with diverse vendors during our operations. From the compliance perspective, we also, similar to the other operators in the space, we did not identify or discover any attempts to access our sports wagering platform by minors. So we did not have any numbers to report. And through our responsible gaming initiatives, we had during the fourth quarter 88 voluntary self-exclusion enrollees. Obviously, you're going to see numbers increase with the launch of football during Q3, but we have maintained our self-exclusion and responsible gambling tools for all of our patrons throughout. As far as the lottery, we, with the assistance of our affiliate Encore Boston Harbor, we made attempts to meet with the lottery to help ensure that the lottery was not negatively impacted by sports wagering. We did not have a meeting that was able to make any meaningful steps before we announced our closure, but Encore Boston Harbor still continues to collaborate with the lottery. And finally, on our community outreach and charitable impacts, all WinBet employees are invited to participate and contribute to community engagements that are sponsored by the Win Group of Families. In fact, several WinBet employees participated in Feed the Funnel, which is which is held at both Encore Boston Harbor and Win Las Vegas. It's an event that helps prepare meals for local food banks. And several of our WinBet employees have volunteered their time and have made charitable donations, the majority of which are Nevada-centric as our headquarters. Happy to answer any questions about WinBet.
Hi, sorry, I was on mute. Questions for Jennifer? And we can go back to slides if you wish, commissioners. And you can take down the slideshow then, Jennifer, so we can all see each other. I thought it was interesting that some of your vendors are less than cooperative around their diversity numbers. I think in Massachusetts, perhaps it's just, maybe there's more openness to that, Crystal. I don't think it's mandatory that vendors share, right? But maybe it's a culture where that sharing is encouraged, and I just haven't really thought about that as a nationwide challenge, perhaps. Crystal knows a lot about this area, so that's why I'm turning to her, Jennifer.
Yeah, I do think that's there's a little truth in that, Chair. We hear this sometimes that it might be a capacity thing, and sometimes the smaller vendors do struggle to identify this, but it's also because it's so built into a lot of what Massachusetts does. We hear that there's a lot of more camaraderie around it, so to speak, and celebration of it, and just familiarity with it. So I think it probably depends. It could depend on where these vendors are. I'm not familiar myself, but it may just be a cultural component there.
Interesting.
It was some of our operators. I think we've seen it in some reporting today, right? They can get some of the information, and I think actually Commissioner Skinner had asked some of this in the very beginning, that when Bet and others were reviewing their diversity plan, it was a little struggle in the beginning. So I think we're seeing that some of them are coming on board because we asked, but for some entities, it's just a very unfamiliar process.
Well, to the extent that we influence and impact that, that's okay for the MGC. But I appreciate your mentioning it, or reminding me, I guess, of this challenge. So thanks, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, Jennifer, thank you. I know it's been a long day for you. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, commissioners, returning to item 3 on the agenda. Any commissioner updates? Okay, we've had 3 productive meetings. It's a 111, 3 1s. Seems like a winning number. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Quick before it turns.
Move to adjourn.
Thank you.
Oh, too late. Did I catch it?
112. Anyway, close enough, Commissioner Skinner. You got the motion, and that's all we needed. Commissioner O'Brien, did you second it?
I did.
I want to be sure. Just watching the clock. Everybody else set? Okay. All right. Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill.
Aye.
Commissioner Skinner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maynard.
Aye.
I vote yes. 5-0. Thanks. And Crystal, thank you very much. Excellent reporting. And we'll convene tomorrow for another group of 3.
3 more tomorrow.